NATO!
Hey folks, Tarmac Terrorist here. Yesterday I had a day off work and I thought I'd spend the day having a look at something that Studio 397 brought out, which was at the tail end of July. I've just got I thought I finally got time to get around to having a look, and that is the Stockcar 2018. Now we're in 2020, but they brought out the 2018 stock cars because the 2020 cars are 550 brake horsepower and the 2018 series was 750 brake horsepower. So they went with that. They thought having more horsepower would be a lot of fun. So I got really excited about this. I was going to do a video at Indianapolis, which is a Studio 397 track. And you think of stock cars, you've got to think of Indianapolis. You know, the Indy race there, it's, you know, it's one of the biggest spectacles, motor racing, at the Brickyard, a gasoline alley. You know, the corners there are a quarter mile just on their own. You know, huge, great 2.5 mile track. I got so excited, I even went all American. I mean, look at this idiot. Howdy there, folks. Tarmac Terrorist here. Today we're going to head over to the United States, have ourselves a little bit of bootlegging fun and some big old 750 horsepower NASCAR. So, I really wanted to do this, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and I spent the whole day on it, and everything went wrong. For a start, I had to give up on Indianapolis. I'm sorry, but I had to, because the cars just can't make it around turn number 2. There's always a problem. 9 times out of 10, there is a problem, and it just became kind of impossible. I mean, it kind of went like this every single time.
And we are green. Here we go. Now let's see what happens when we get to the second corner. Oh, I was late on the brakes there. These cars, the cold brakes and cold tyres on these cars are scary until they've been warmed up. What will happen at the second corner here? Are we going to have problems? Are we going to see problems? And yes. Immediately drama. You just, for God's sakes, every single time. I give up.
So yeah, you can see how frustrated I was getting there. So I had to give up. And, you know, I also had to read through the stock car rules. Now, Studio 397 actually have a page where they've got their stock car guide. And I had to read through this. And, well... yeah, I had a brain embolism. I mean, I never thought that turning left could be this complicated. I mean, there is a whole part 1 guide to it, and there's like phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, you've got the lucky dog rule. You've got first caution rule. You know, and double file rule. There's so many rules, and the cars will swap places on full course yellows. And with the problems that I had at Indianapolis because of the cars literally crashing every single time on the first lap, I was literally stuck in a pace lap for ages, all the time. So it would have been a really terrible video. So what I thought I'd do is, right, if you want to have decent car racing with these cars at ovals, by the way, the car is great. The car's really great. And around road courses, they're amazing. The tyre physics has been updated to whatever model they're on now. It's brilliant. It really does feel like a really heavy, you know, beast of a machine. It feels like it should really. It's great. But I wanted to find out, for those of you who just want to have some fun, have a good race, can you actually have a decent race with these cars at an oval? So what I did is I picked a bunch of tracks and had a race round with the AI. I turned off the stock car rules. In fact, I did what I usually do with Rfactor, which is just put black flags on, because for a while Rfactor 2, I don't know if it's been updated yet, but Rfactor 2 has had a problem with some of the full course yellows. So just turn that off, because I just wanted to see if you could have a decent race and get into what oval car racing is really like. I haven't done it since I had NASCAR 2003. Those of you iRacing fans out there will remember that. I'm sure. So basically what I've done is, without going too in depth, I've gone and taken a quick 10 lap race each course. Now 10 laps seems like a lot. don't worry, even 2.5 miles can be done in about 48 seconds. And that was at Indianapolis. And some of the tracks are a lot shorter than that. There's one that's 0.74 miles. So the races aren't too long. It just gives you an idea of how, and I've got to say, how much fun oval racing can really be, because it's one thing taking these cars around the track on your own, but when you get in the pack, when you're racing in the pack, everything changes. It then becomes, oh, it's a really good challenge, because you've got things that happen, like when you're in the pack, you've got to think about the slipstream, and in the slipstream you're losing grip. All sorts of things can happen. It's all explained. Yeah, also I've got to say, if you're really serious about stock car racing, I'll leave a link to the rules, and also a link to a man I've discovered called Machine. Machine, if you're out there, I'm sorry, I haven't done enough research on you, because I literally was just trying to find the tracks in the game. But this guy's got a load of tracks out. He seems to know everything about the stock car racing. I think he's the person to go to. He's on the Studio 397 boards. Go and look up his track pack. You can look from on the Studio 397 boards, but also he has a track pack on Steam called Machines Oval Track Pack. So search for that. And I mean to do a video where I get fully in depth, properly learn these rules. But for the meantime, this is just for those of you who maybe aren't used to NASCAR racing and just want to have a decent race. So I've got to get back to work tomorrow. I'm going to try and get this video out before the end of tonight, because I've got to be up early. And I've just squeezed this in after work today. One quick thing before I go on. Thank you very much to all of you who have been supporting this channel. All of you have subscribed. And this one's just for, I've had people online from various groups subscribing from the racing leagues, not the racing leagues, the racing clubs. But also I'd like to thank my Facebook friends, some of which you come to my jam on a Sunday. Cheers to all of you. I am going to try and do a special video for you guys at some point. Yeah, keep the subscriptions coming, because if I get, it costs you nothing to subscribe. It means nothing. If you subscribe to my videos, it just lets you know on YouTube when I've done another video. But if I get enough subscribers, I can afford to do better videos, because you will see that some of the footage is, I have problems with the PC, because my potato is old and knackered, and that might help me towards getting some better equipment. Anyway, that means better videos for you. It means I can do more for you guys. So without further ado, here's how you can really have some fun at some of the ovals in Rfactor 2. And these ones that I'm using are all old ISI tracks, and you can find them in the Steam Workshop. There's going to be a loading screen image before each track. So if you got halfway through one of the tracks, you think, oh, I've seen enough of that, you can skip through to the next loading screen with the slider on the video. And there you go. So please hit that subscribe button on my video here, and let's go oval racing. So here we are, folks, for an evening with the new Stockcar 18 for Rfactor 2. We're going to be taking the 750 brake horsepower beasts round a few of the oval tracks, with the exception of Indianapolis, but we already know why that is. So let's have a look going through here. The Stockcar 18, we've got 3 cars here. We've got the Centennial, the Edgar GT, and the Titan. Okay, we are going to be using the Centennial. I have not tried out the other cars yet. How different they are, I don't know. This is just to find out how much fun they are to race around these ovals. Now, just going to the car, look at this. This is in our tuning menu. We can change the configuration for all of the different tracks. And, some of these tracks are not, a lot of them aren't even official Studio 397 tracks. Some of them are made by a guy called Machine. Some of them are old ISI tracks. You can change the brake kit as well. The inner liner, I've got no idea what that is. I think it might be this thing here, for keeping the car straight, or some aerodynamics for the ovals. If you are a NASCAR fan, you will be saying, shit, this kid don't know nothing at the moment, and I don't. You'd be right. The wheelbase you can change.
well, I don't know exactly how you can change it. There's only one there. Steering ratio units. Obviously, we're going to have those on Imperial because I like miles per hour. So that's the car. And right, we're going to go through these tracks in chronological order. So the first one we've got is Alabama Super Speedway, and it's a big track. So for each one of these tracks, we're going to be setting up to a 10-lap race. That sounds like a lot. Don't worry, because you can. When I did Indianapolis, you're lapping 2.5 miles in about 48 seconds. So these races aren't going to take any longer than 10 minutes each. In fact, quite a lot of the tracks are a little bit shorter than that, if not a lot shorter. We're going to have long tracks and short laps, so it shouldn't take that long. We're going to have 32 AI drivers. We're going to have 33 cars in track on total. We're going to be in the middle of the grid, starting from the middle of the grid, so at 17, which is roughly the middle. And that will give us a good idea of what the AI are like if we're starting mid-pack. Damage multiplier, as I always race, is on 100. AI strength is set to 100. That's a good starting point to keep it at. And the AI aggression is at 79%. I wanted AI at 80, but I can't quite get... Oh, no, I've got it. So we've got 80. We're at 80. And the AI limiter is at 0. Right, so let's load up our first track. And that is Alabama Speedway. So we've got 3.86 miles. This is the longest track. They're all either 2.5 or lower. This is the only one that's over that. This is a big track with some really heavy banking. And as you can see, it is an ISI track. So, now, if you're going to race NASCAR and you're not used to it like I'm not and you're a complete novice, the reason I've got the AI limiter at 0, the AI limiter, it's been suggested, I've seen on some videos, to put the AI limiter up with these cars, because what the AI limiter is there for, it's designed to, at 0%, let the AI, each individual AI, drive at their full potential, go as fast as they can with their own characteristics. With the AI set at 100, it kind of keeps them in check and keeps the, limits them, so the pack is kept very close for close racing. Don't use it. I've tried using it. Basically, at some tracks, the cars just become a train. So even if you want closer race, you can use it if you like, but I'd really stay away from it. So we've got the Super Speedway default setup. There is a setup for each one of these tracks. And we know what we've got everything set to. So let's get out there. How much fun can we have at Alabama Speedway? The other thing about these cars, if you're going to race NASCAR, now look, you've got some pretty substantial in-car mirrors on these. We've got the left-hand one, and we've got our middle one, which is so wide it actually sort of acts like a right-hand side wing mirror, which you can see over there. There is not one. But because we're on a single screen, we can't see all of that mirror, and you really want to have, and we've got no peripheral vision unless we look round. So if you're on a single screen, if you're lucky enough to have 3 screens, don't bother with this, but if you've only got a single screen, use your mirrors, use all of them. So you've got, if we get up behind this car here, you'll see what I mean. In my right hand mirror now, you'll be able to see him there. We can see him like we've got peripheral vision, like we were, you know, you can see 180 degrees with your eyes, so you'd be seeing him anyway if you're on 3 screens or in the cockpit yourself, but we're not quite seeing that. So use all your mirrors if you're on single screen. Draft. The slipstream is very important. Basically, especially on this track, I have found if you get out of the slipstream on this track, you're out. Forget about it. You're never going to catch up, because these cars, they use the you're basically, I think the slowest track I can think of that we'll be on, the slowest you're going to be going is 100 miles an hour, and you think your slipstream and your aero is really starting to take effect just above 60 miles per hour. So 100 or more, I mean especially at 200, which is what these cars really like to sit at, you need that slipstream. NASCAR is all about slipstreaming. Now this track also, this is the biggest track. You can drive around this track on your own with your foot flat down, right on the metal, and not lift ever. But once you're in a pack of cars, NASCAR becomes a whole different ball game. And we are green. Because once you are in a slipstream, things happen like your grip will go, well, it will just go when you're in the slipstream. So you want to be slipstreaming on the straights as much as possible. But when you're in the corners, you will find that your grip will decrease if you are in, right there in the slipstream. We've been overtaken, so we've dropped the place. I'm deliberately leaving my speedo up there so you can see what kind of speeds we're achieving at these tracks. We've got a bit of a challenge from this black car behind us. He's slipstreaming us, but he's not pulling out. Is he gonna? Oh, yes, he is. Now I have seen Rfactor 2 seems to have had a bit of a problem with slipstreaming when I've been driving stuff like the GTEs or GT3s at Le Mans. I have seen evidence of slipstreaming since I've been trying these tracks. So maybe they've been working on that a little bit. So yeah, also with the NASCARs, here's the thing, you wouldn't think about the brakes a lot, especially on a track like this, but actually you do, because if you're not used to NASCAR, you might just kind of forget that those stickers on the back of the car, where the lights should be, are just stickers, they are not lights. And so you don't actually realise when they, oh look at that, 3 wide! The 3 wide, when we're brake, you don't notice, oh I've got a touch, oh! That was dangerous, just a slight touch on the back end, I could have gone right round there. Oh! So yeah, those brake lights, you want to be looking for the pitch on of the car in front of you, and how quickly it's coming towards you to know what's happening with the braking. So don't forget to brake, or hover your foot against the brake if you're behind a car. Or maybe that's just me being chicken. I'm out of the slipstream now. The other thing I was going to mention is don't get excited if you suddenly overtake a shed load of cars. Because in NASCAR you can do that. You can overtake like 10 cars in a go. But don't get too excited, because on the next corner you might have 10 cars overtaking you. Because if you get out of that slipstream, you slow down pretty quick and they speed up. If you're in the slipstream, as you can see now, you speed up damn quick. And then you can slingshot past. But like now, you might end up on the inside, on the outside, oh, very tight. And that's the other thing that I want to bring to your attention for racing NASCAR. Get used to thinking in terms of credit cards, because that's about the amount of gap you will get sometimes if you're on the outside and you're coming out of a corner. If you've taken the outside line like I am doing now, you may get squeezed right up against the wall, and the AI, or any cars really, even though they're driven by humans, they're going to swing to the outside of the track because of the forces, and they will do their best to not hit you, but you're going to have a credit card switch between your wing mirror and theirs, and your wing mirror and the outside wall. And look, we are totally losing all those positions. You've got to get back in that slipstream, sorry. Like I say, you get out of the slipstream, that's it, you're done. So let's try and use that now. Look at the incredible banking on this track. I'm going to try and get some of the slip off that yellow car whilst we're too wide here. I'm going to try and stay as far to the left as I can. Try and push those cars to the middle so I can stay in the slipstream. I'm in the slipstream now. I'm pulling out of it, but I lifted because I thought I was going to hit the back of him just as I pulled out, so I have not got the slingshot that I desired. The other thing about NASCAR is you are going so fast, but these tracks are like motorways, and when you're doing 70 on a motorway, sometimes, if you're on a big empty motorway, you can feel like you are standing still because the road is so big. 70 on a motorway doesn't feel very fast compared to 70 down a small B road. So you can get into this kind of dream, if you like, and everything's whizzing past so quickly. It all becomes like these fences here kind of almost become one. Your eyes go a bit blurry, and you can suddenly forget how fast you're going, because these stripes on the road are going past quite fast, but slowly compared to the fencing there. and that's because these stripes are probably about 3 cars long. They're huge stripes, so you forget you're going fast, and when things go wrong, that's, oh look at this, slingshot, just overtaken about, what, 10 cars there in 25th place. When things go wrong, they go wrong really fast. That's when you know how fast you're going. So remember that. Back to the racing, and right, we're in the slipstream again. And I'm taking the outside line again. Quite fond of the outside line here, so it seems. Like I said, I've not got much experience around these tracks. The car is great. The car really is great. Connection to the road, the disconnection when it really slips. You can hold it on the limit. The tyres feel, you know, they really do feel like tyres. And of course, I've never driven a NASCAR before, but it does have the characteristics of a big, heavy machine. And you know, you think that F1 cars, with all their clever dynamics, oh look at that, now it's getting interesting. Oh, I've got a lift, he's pulling out. This is now getting interesting. We're 2 and 3 wide. Along with things like mirrors, by the way, I haven't got him turned on, because if I did, I'd be hearing his voice all over this recording. But if I was racing on my own without recording, I'd be using him. You want your spotter turned on. The spotter in Rfactor 2, if you try to use it at road tracks with other cars like GTX, you find it doesn't actually work, only for lap time. You get the NASCARs going on an oval track and the spotter works. And he'll tell you if there's someone on the inside or the outside. If you want to go one better than that, download Crew Chief. If you don't know what Crew Chief is, get on the internet, type in Crew Chief, and you will find that it is an application, a free application that you can download. It works with pretty much any of the decent sims, and it's much better than the basic spotter that comes with this. Have a look for that, and please, one of you racing companies, give those guys a job, pay them to be involved in your sim, because they've done a fantastic app. We are 19th out of 33. So, and we've got 1 lap to go. So even with the AI limiter off, the cars have spread out. I mean, there must be a... Oh, I'm losing it a bit. But cars are spread out, and there's a huge pack of them up front, and they are in groups. There are groups, there are individual cars. The racing is interesting, but you still get packs of cars like this, and we're on the inside. The one place you don't want to be is on that crease. Don't lose it on the last lap! Don't lose it! Oh no! No, don't lose it, don't lose it, don't lose it, don't lose it! Oh, on the last lap, guys! A slight touch from another car. We were on the crease. You don't want to be on that crease, because as soon as you are, the wheels are at different angles to the road, and you lose half your traction. It's a very dangerous place to be. And we've come in last. But that was much fun, guys, much fun. Ooh. So that's how much fun you can have with the NASCARs at Alabama. Right, next track, guys. Apple Valley Speedway. In California, it's a 2-mile oval, this one, with some pretty heavy banking. Apple Valley Speedway, but this is an ISI track as well. Apple Valley Speedway in America is actually, what's called Apple Valley Speedway in California is very different to this track. It's actually a road car track. This is California. This is actually California Speedway. It does have an infield track though, and I'll tell you what, I've had a lot of fun here on the infield track with the Porsche GT3 Cup. If you haven't tried the Porsche GT3 Cup at Apple Valley Speedway, have a go. It's a lot of fun. And the speedway course, you've got the speedway course, you've got the infield, and then you've got the big track with the infield, which is half of the oval and half of the infield. You want to try that. So once again, same settings, same difficulty, no limiting, 8, same aggression, same damage. We're starting in the middle of the grid again, 33 cars. Off we go. 10 laps of Apple Valley. how much fun can we have here? So let's, for the purposes of saving time, let's skip our pace lap. Just had a little bit of wheel spin there. These cars on cold tyres, by the way, these cars are a bit slippery till these tyres warm up. I mean, you should always let your tyres warm up, but these cars in particular. Now this track is also quite bumpy. I'm quite nervous about this one. And as you can see, the cars are bouncing around a lot already. There's a lot of shuffling in the pack going on. Oh, we're on the crease. Don't get in the crease. Surrounded by palm trees, this track. I've got a car on my outside. Just losing him. And look at this. 3, 4 wide. Almost went at the back of the yellow car there. Oh, we're right on the outside. We're getting squeezed against the wall. Oh. So, as you can see, I've got a little bit of a glitch from my potato PT there. Probably the RAM having an argument with the, or running out of VRAM, or the RAM just having an argument with the processor or something, or the graphics card, or my little low-power potato. Anyway, enough about that. I have been looking forward to doing this race, and also I've been nervous about it. Now look, I can feel the bumps coming through my steering wheel very well. It's all communicated through the virtual steering column very well, and I am used to them from, you know, driving around the part of the oval that's involved in in the track, in the road course track, when I've been using the GT3s. Lots of bouncing around going there. I'm able to go quite high on this track instead of bring it in. Now we're in 7th position already. So let's slipstream this car here, go past. Oh, we've got cars on the outside. Oh, they're coming right in. Oh no! We've had a big touch there, a big touch. Oh, keeping it on the track, keep it on the track, don't let anything. Woo! Guys, that was scary. That was a really scary moment. Have I picked up any damage? Luckily with these cars you can have the odd bump and scrape because they are of course full-bodied cars. Not like an F1 car or even an Indy car where you've not got much protection, but you can still pick up bumps. We seem to be okay. That brings me to another point, which is you might be tempted to just think, well, you might as well just ride the walls in these cars and just go around the outside of the track. Don't do that. One, you'll have a rubbish race. The friction of the walls does slow you down. Oh no! We've got a bump. I went to the back of him. Wasn't concentrating. Down the 3rd gear. That slowed us right down. Not too much of a bump because he was travelling. Car feels all right. Anyway, don't ride the walls. Smoke coming off his back wheels there. Better be careful. I don't want it. Oh, braking again. You can see them all understeering just there mid-corner. Yeah, if you ride the walls, you're going to bump the walls quite a bit, and you will pick up a little bit of damage with your front wheels. Oh my word! There we go. Yeah, don't do what he just did. A bump like that is going to cause you some suspension damage, and you might just get a slight wobble, you know, it might cause some steering damage, but when these cars are doing 200 miles an hour all the time, a slight wobble, you know, you imagine if you're tracking on your car, goes out by a little bit on a main road, you know, and you hit the motorway, you can really feel it. Imagine that 200 miles an hour. It magnifies. So anyway, back to the racing. I really do seem to be a fan of the outside line, don't I? Just... oh. You can use the brakes on these cars to get the front end to turn in on these tracks. This isn't too much of an in-depth look. I haven't tried to muck about with setups at all. Of course, these cars around the ovals are actually set up lopsided. So the outside, for instance, you've got negative camber. On the inside, you've got positive camber. I've got that the right way around. I don't know. If I haven't, someone will tell me in the comments. But You all know, I think. But yeah, so the wheels are kind of lopsided, the suspension is set up differently. Now, what I'm finding about this track here, seeing as this is about, you know, where can you actually race these and have fun with them, is that the AI don't seem to be, I mean, I like the way they're, you know, they're 3 wide and stuff and spreading out, but on this track, they seem to, they're not doing too well with the corners. I think that might be the bumps throwing them out. That mid-corner, they do seem to have a big problem, and I've seen a fair few of them hit the wall now. Also, we're in 3rd position again. So I think the AI are not too quick round here. I do find that the AI in Rfactor, with certain tracks, granted that these are not Studio 397 tracks, but they are ISI tracks, which, you know, would have come with the game when it first came out, when it was still being looked after by ISI before Studio 397. The AI can sometimes, between track to track, have the consistency of, well, lovely cake mixture, you know? So you have to set them differently for each track. Luckily, you can reset the difficulty of the AI whilst you're at the track in the game. All you do is you go to your difficulty and you've got your slider. You can, if you think they're too fast or too slow for you, you can change that slider without having to reload the track. All you've got to do is once you've changed it, you have to do a restart, as in restart the session or restart the race, and then they will be at your desired level of skill. You can change the aggression on the fly completely. You don't have to even restart anything to change the aggression. You can't do that with any other sim that I've found. I could be wrong. If I am, please tell me in the comments. But there we go. This has been Apple Valley Speedway, and I'm in 1st. So, the racing's all right, apart from the cars hitting the side there. But not much of a challenge. So I would recommend, if you come to Apple Valley Speedway, you may want to raise your, you know, or whilst you're at the track, we've just finished. Once you're at the track, or before you get on the track, just raising your AI opponent's skill level. So there we go, that's what the racing is like at Apple Valley Speedway, aka California Speedway, and we're finishing on the grass there. Right, on to the next track. Okay folks, Brookfields is the next track, a 1.43 mile track. We've got a tighter corner at the lower end here, as you can see from the track map, and a larger corner at the other end. So a track, an oval track with 2 different corners on it. This track I'm looking very much forward to. It's quite a challenge, and you're going to see why in a minute. Now, you heard me mention earlier on that if you're going to get used to these racing these cars, you're going to get used to having not too much room. With this track, yeah, that's probably the main point about this track. The racing here is very, very close, and you're going to see why right now as we get on track at Brookfields. We're going to skip our pace lap, and here we go. Look at this. This is why you ain't got a lot of room in this track. You don't have an infield here, as well as an outer wall. You've got the inner wall. So you are either going to be squashed up against it, and a car, you know, as usual, on most of the tracks, you could be squashed up against the outside wall with a car on your inside. But you could here also be squashed up against the inside wall with a car on your outside. And as you can see, the cars here, they race 3, 4 wide. This track is great, and the AI are really good around here. Oh, I said that. We've had a problem here. Now, don't worry folks, this is not like Indianapolis. That is just a random problem. I've raced around here a few times now, and that does not happen all the time. I think it's the first time it's happened on the first lap. Indianapolis definitely does have a problem with the second corner though. So, don't worry folks, it's not a major bug or anything. We've got an attack from the outside, we've got an attack from the inside. He's gone round on the outside. The blue car that was attacking on the inside is now behind us. We've got a black car, black and yellow car on our outside, still in front of it. The blue car's still there. I'm going to try and stay low. The black and yellow car's gone for the outside. Number 20 something, I couldn't quite see. Hard to see when you're doing 175 miles an hour, 180, nearly 190 on the straight, even though this is one of the smaller tracks. We're still hitting that speed. As we come round the corner there, back in between these two walls, this is a pretty scary track. The other thing, I've got a bit of a slide on at the back end. Don't want to let it go. We've got Challenger on the inside, but we've got the outside line. Can we keep the high road? We're squashed up against the wall. Not very much room between me, the car on the inside, and the wall. He's going through. I'm going to duck him. Oh, had to damn the brakes there. I'm going to duck him behind and try and keep the slipstream, but as I do, the back end just tries to go a little bit because if we got into that slipstream, of course, I'm in dirty air, so the arrows, the little arrows that these cars have got, you know, it's losing some of its effect. But let's do it again. Let's slipstream him on the straight. Get away from this challenge we've got from the car at the back. And even though he's gone into the clean air, so it would have slowed him down, he's managed to get through on the inside. Can we keep the speed on and take him on the outside? We've done it. Folks, this is one of the best tracks that I have driven so far in the NASCARs. It really is. I'm looking forward to doing a video where I do a proper long NASCAR race, you know. I don't know, maybe not as long as the... Oh, no! No, no, don't lose it now, don't lose it now! Oh, whilst I was talking there, I just let the back end go. And that was very nearly race over there, guys. Very nearly race over. Can really feel what's going on underneath the car. This track is pretty good. You can feel the surface where all those rubbery strips are in between what I assume is, you know, concrete slab. You can really feel those. It's got a great texture, this track. We've got another challenge from, what is that, number 18 behind us in white and red. He's going for it. Oh, we don't want it. Oh! Oh, Christ, we clattered the wall! Jesus! Oh! Or should I say, God damn it! But, I'm not Tom Cruise and this is not David Thunder, so I'm not going to say that. We've got engine problems, folks. Look at that. Oh, and we've got some serious steering issues. That crash has... Oh! It's not going to let us keep this car straight. 75 miles an hour. Our engine is about to blow, I think. So what I shall do is I'm going to use this opportunity just to show you something about the pits. Now these cars don't have pit speed limiters, which you might think, well, that's no good. You really want a pit speed limiter. What it does have is, now you see my steering, my speedo is turning green there. If I take off the power, it turns blue. If I put the power on a little bit more, it turns red. Basically, if we're doing, let's see, we're blue. If it's green, if it is green, then you're doing the speed limit in the pits. So that is a visual pit speed limiter. So you can use that, or you can use auto pit. I don't know. Anyway, that's that's Brookdale. Oh my God. Can you have fun here? Most definitely. And I didn't crash out there because it was the AI's fault. That wasn't my fault. I might do another video where I come back to this track and finish a race. In fact, this might have to be the track where I do a long video. Anyway, on to the next track. Northside International Raceway. This is a really short one, just 0.74 miles. Once again, an ISI track. And, well, this one's just like one big corner. In fact, one side of the track is, as you can see there, there's one straight, and the rest of it is a corner with varying degrees of angle to it. So this one's going to be interesting. I've tried this out, and you're still at lowest speed. It's such a short track, but because it's, you know, you've got all that corner, you're still, you know, only hitting really about as low as about 100 miles an hour on this. So you're still hammering it round. Let's see how we can do here and if we can finish. 10 laps of this track won't be too long. I think I'm going to actually do the formation lap, because the formation lap on this track, you start from the pits and you'll pretty much go straight away, really. So we're coming out of the pits here, right up against the inside wall. Look how close we are. And we're coming around to this corner. The cars are slowing down and braking. Got to be careful there. And you think they're speeding up, they might not be, but I think now, oh, no, not quite. Are they? Aren't they? Oh, a little bit of a glitch from my potato PC there. And green flag! Pace car's gone in and we are racing. Oh, what on earth is happening with my PC? Do we have some background process that has started up and is interfering? Please don't do that again, potato. Oh, things are getting dangerous. Oh, that was very close to the water butts there on the inside wall. Got some real problems here with the PC staggering. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe. If I can get some advertising out of YouTube, which costs you nothing, by the way. If you subscribe, it just gives you a notification of my videos. That's all, costs you nothing. But if I can earn some money from the advertising on YouTube, I might be able to get a computer that doesn't do this. I'm working on an old i5 with a 750 Ti graphics card, which is, you know, 2 megabytes of VRAM, not enough for this game, and quite a lot of them. And the whole PC's only got 4 gigs of RAM. So yeah, that's a good example. Please subscribe. Anyway, we're losing places. We've dropped down from 17th place to 28th already. And as you can see, we're slowing right down for this corner. We're doing 103 at lowest. Oh, we have got a car right on our outside. I think we slightly scraped the wall there. There's one thing about Rfactor, by the way, the sounds aren't great. You don't get a lot of indication of when you've hit something by the sound, you know. There's no sort of scraping sound. I'd like to see a bit more of that in Rfactor. Rfactor 2, to be exact. 134 miles an hour as we get to the corner here. So we're out on the long, sweeping corner here. What can we make around here? 140. Slowing down. Coming down to the inside for the straight. And I've just touched the wall there again. The other thing with NASCARs is get used to rubbing and bumping. You are, these, you know, in real life, these cars, they call it bump drafting for a reason, guys. These guys, they bump, they shunt, they have the odd scrape on the side, you know. And they have more than the scrape, things go wrong with it rather quickly. But these guys are definitely, I think they're fans of the phrase rubbing is racing. When you see NASCAR on TV, I think half the reason the fans go is for the phenomenal crashes that they have. You can see how much safety gear is in this car. Look at that roll cage. I mean, wow, that's some heavy tube frame there. We're going to take it out on, overtaken on the outside. I'm loving this car, guys. It really is great. And you know, round the road tracks, it's fantastic. If you know, it's fantastic if you want to drive a big, heavy beast, a NASCAR basically, with a stupid amount of power, in a car without majorly advanced aerodynamics. Suspension. 1 lap to go already. There we go. That's how quickly you can finish this track, because it's so short. Not bad looking again. And what we're going to finish in, we're finishing in 27th position. So the AI round here are a pretty good challenge. And you may feel like, you know, we're doing 100 miles now, looks like we're going slow. Look at the outside and how fast those fences are going past. gives you a better idea. So there we go, definitely worth a go, this track. So there you go. Stick Northside on your race calendar. I think you'll have loads of fun there. Look at them go. Right. Let's have our next and final track. Palm Springs Speedway. Okay, it's a medium-sized track. It's 1.5 miles long. Once again, an ISI track. It's an interesting one. There's a couple of elevation changes, I think, on this track. You've got two corners which look, you know, pretty similar to each other, and two big long straights. So let's get to Florida, I think it's in. And for our last race, it's going to be the last one I'm going to do, because I'm running out of time, and I've done this after work today, and I've got work again tomorrow. I need to be up early for that. So this is going to be the last one. I'd love to do more, folks, but I can't. So once again, middle of the grid, Palm Springs, the Homestead default setup. So obviously this track's got another name. One of the tracks we've been on is actually Kentucky, I discovered through the setup. Yeah, any NASCAR fans, guys, I'm really sorry. You can see how much I know. Here we go. So, by the way, I apologise about the low resolution liveries of my car. I have to run at low res with 33 cars on track, because as you can see, I've only got about, well, I had 36 FPS just there. It's now gone up to 51. Let's get racing, see what happens. This is what having a potato does for you. Okay. My PC is really slowing down here at 39. It's just up to 52 FPS. Let's hope it stays there. Oh, we've got a touch from another car as he went past. Oh, we're nearly taken out there. Concentrate. Concentrate. Come on, mate. Palm Springs, with lots of palm trees around the track, rather fittingly. And this track surface, I haven't really had any practice here. This track surface seems damn smooth. Seems really smooth. Graphics of this track, bit pale. I'm wondering if ISI are going to update all of these, seeing as they've worked so hard, as they say, 16 months they said on the on updating these stock cars. Maybe they are planning to, you know, with all of the setups that they've made for the individual tracks, maybe they're going to release a whole Studio 397 stock car track pack. That would be good. That would be very good. And especially seeing as I'm really starting to enjoy this. I haven't really raced NASCAR since I had NASCAR 2003. Those of you iRacing fans will probably remember that. Absolutely legendary game. Did much better than this in terms of physical and visual damage, by the way. Damage on this physically is pretty good. When we hit those water butts earlier, though, on the other track, we'd have been, you know, engine gone, everything. But certainly visually, they could do a lot better, I think. A few more bits going off the car. But down to what's important for the moment is the driving. And this is a big track. I mean, like I said, it's a medium size of 150, 1.5 miles long, but it's a big wide track. And some pretty good banking on these corners, but like I said, the surface is very smooth. And oh, that outside hasn't got a lot of grip. I want to stay down here on the inside. Now, the other thing that I've just realised is, you know, because I haven't been racing around here, I haven't given, you know, because we haven't done practice sessions and quali sessions, hasn't given a lot of time for the track to leather up, so, or rubber up. So if I do a long video, it's going to be interesting see how that line forms and what it's like on and off the rubbered line in a long race. Now we're down in 28th position. The cars are moving about a bit up ahead, but we're in a pretty uniform line. And there's groups of cars. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars in a group. There's 3 in front. There's about 4 of them behind. I've got to try and get myself in the slipstream, else I've got a feeling this could be a bit like Alabama. Get out of the slipstream, you know, you're just not going to make it. And I think the car behind us was just about to take advantage of that until I went to the outside and blocked him. And we've got a car just losing it on the preset, so we're going to use his slipstream and try and catapult past. I'm going to go for the inside this time. I've been such a fan of going for the outside. I'm going to, oh no, overcooked it. Being thrown to the outside of the track. He's gone through. The yellow car has made the pass. Oh, slightly touched us. Don't lose it. Oh, really just lose it. Almost there. And because the wheel is sort of constantly pulling to one side, I went to get it straight and forgot about that. And yeah, the car just, you've got to sort of counter steer it to the right all the time. It wanted to turn left. It's like, oh no, just kissed the wall there. Kissed the wall. And we're in last, come on. Got 1 lap to go after this. I don't want to finish last. Come on. So, a good challenge here from the AI on this track. At Palm Springs. So this is another good one. I really do hope that they get Indianapolis sorted out, because that's, you know, you want to race at Indianapolis. I mean, it's the Brickyard, for God's sake. It's Gasoline Alley. So I hope someone from ISI, Studio 397, sorry, is out there listening, because that's actually one of their tracks, that one. All of the tracks I've used here, as you see, of ISI tracks. I haven't even looked at the modified tracks yet. I'd love to go into more depth with this video, but that's going to be a long video, and we'll finish the race. We are in last. Damn. But like I say, I just don't have the time. Anyway, that has been the NASCAR 2018. Like I say, the car is great. If you're not into ovals, but you want to drive a heavy stock car, you feel like it, and you know, it's really worth giving this a try at maybe Sebring or the new Portland. Like I say, if you do like to muck around with your chasing files, make sure you've got the mistakes set to 0, because they are a little bit, you know, they will make mistakes. And that, folks, is about it for now. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it's given you kind of a brief overview of, you know, how to actually go out and have fun. Like I said, there are the stock car rules, but yeah, if you don't understand stock car rules, they'll give you an embolism. So I've got this whole thing is done with black flags on only. And I'd say we've had some pretty decent racing. Anyway, thanks, folks, and please subscribe to my channel, give us a like, tell me anything that I might have said wrong in this video, because, you know, I don't know much about NASCAR. Stick something in the comments and go, oi, Tarmac, sort it out, mate, and bring it to my attention. But I hope you enjoyed it. All the best, folks. See you soon.